The worst thing you can do is call your dead father an abuser on live TV, and that is exactly what Blake Lively did.
She wanted me to share with you that she is a survivor of the worst crime someone can commit against a woman.
Blake was given the platform to talk about abuse during her movie promo, but nah, instead of sharing something meaningful, she was busy chatting about florals and Betty Boos.
Where was the survivor story of your mom's almost unalivement when you were making a movie about that?
Really? The Titan Blake Lively is now trying to convince us that she is a victim because her mother was.
Used the night as an opportunity to reveal a secret.
It's a ridiculous joke. She shouldn't be there. She has no influence over anyone.
And now suddenly, she remembers the trauma her mom faced. Blake Lively just hit a new low. She is now using her own mother's trauma as a shield for her latest PR stunt. And let's just say, it's as distasteful as it sounds.
Blake Lively's mother, Elaine Lively, was on the clock last night. You'd have thought she was the #1 draft pick, the way Blake Lively called her up and drafted her right into her concocted bullshit of a story.
Blake's big moment came during her speech at the Time 100 gala. Instead of taking the opportunity to express gratitude or appreciation for the honor, she launched into a full-blown PR move, clearly aimed at shifting public opinion and gaining sympathy ahead of her ongoing legal battle with Justin Baldoni.
Hey, congratulations on your honor.
Now, after a long stretch of keeping a low profile and avoiding the public eye, Blake made a shocking return to the scene. She was spotted at the prestigious Time 100 gala, accompanied by her mother and husband, Ryan Reynolds.
Blake and Ryan and her mother decided to attend the Time 100 gala. There they are.
She started by telling the audience that a lot has happened to her over the past 2 years. But of course, she made sure to remind everyone that this wasn't the right forum to talk about it.
I have so much to say about the last 2 years of my life, but tonight is not the forum.
So, what exactly has happened to her? Well, aside from making a mess of her career by trying to hijack a movie she wasn't supposed to be involved in, and publicly throwing the film's director into the basement at the premiere of his own movie, yeah, not much. But that's neither here nor there.
Justin Baldoni's big premiere night allegedly ended in the basement after the It Ends With Us star and director accused his castmate Blake Lively of sidelining him at the movie's New York premiere due to their ongoing feud.
What followed was truly mind-blowing. Instead of gracefully wrapping up her speech, Blake then said that her mission was to be the voice of the woman who had a voice today.
What I will speak to separately is the feeling of being a woman who has a voice today. And since I could speak, because of the pain, caution, and fight of the many women who have paved the way and the men who stood beside them.
Now, I'm all for empowering women, but here's the thing. Blake has been speaking nonstop, and all of her words seem to be drenched in lies and accusations that have zero solid ground. It's laughable, really.
I'm so sick of her saying, a woman who has a voice today, as if she didn't have a voice previously. Girl, you have one of the loudest voices I've seen in Hollywood. You stole the entire damn movie from Justin. You threatened him. I will not promote this unless I get this. I will not do this unless you get that. I will not sign that until I get this. You have the biggest voice I've seen.
But it wasn't over yet. Oh no, Blake had more to say, and this is where things really took a turn. She went on to describe her mother as a survivor of the worst crime someone can commit against a woman.
She is a survivor of the worst crime someone can commit against a woman.
It was almost as though she was trying to make everyone feel sorry for her, and by extension, justify her own claims against Baldoni. She went as far as to say that her mother never received justice for the assault she had endured.
My mom never got justice from her work acquaintance who attempted to take her life when she was the mother of 3 young kids years before I was born.
Now, I'm all for standing up for victims, but seriously, was this the time and place to drag her mother's trauma into a speech that's supposed to be about female empowerment? The whole thing felt so exploitative, so manipulative.
She's using the Time 100 gala to reveal this? Girl, did you forget you had a whole movie about this that you refused to talk about?
From what we can gather, Blake's speech was an attempt to guilt-trip everyone into giving her the justice she thinks she deserves for her unsubstantiated claims against Justin Baldoni. But here's the catch. That's not how the law works. No matter how many speeches she gives or how many times she tries to paint herself as the victim, she knows that nothing is going to change the fact that there's no evidence to support her accusations.
Yeah! It's for Justin.
Just think about it for a second. Blake turned a personal trauma into a public spectacle for a PR move. Is this what we've come to? And don't even get me started on the way she emphasized the bond women can share if they stick together and speak with one voice. Sounds like a perfect cover for a woman who's trying to rally support for her own shaky case.
Underestimate a woman's ability to endure pain. Life's just a bowl of cherries. Thank you, every woman whose strength brought life to me and my 4 children, and thank you to every man.
As you might expect, Blake's speech didn't sit well with everyone. The crowd was divided, and a strong contingent of Justin Baldoni's supporters started raising their voices. Many of them were asking the obvious question: why, oh why, would Blake use her mother's past trauma for such a blatant publicity stunt?
Talk about survivors? Because her mother insisted, okay? Her mother wanted this to happen. And maybe that's true. If my child were getting roasted, I would do whatever I could to help my kid.
The crowd even asked the question, what in the world is she doing there? How is she, of all people, one of the most influential figures of the year, let alone last year, after everything she's done?
It's a ridiculous joke. She shouldn't be there. She has no influence over anyone.
One of the most influential people of this year and last year. But it's really odd because the article that talks about it really just focuses on a donation she made like 6 years ago. A donation she made because they got married at a plantation and it looked really bad. She's done a lot of weird racist stuff. So to right that wrong, she gave a donation 6 years ago. And that's why apparently she's on this list. But to Blake, she's on this list for being the hero that is standing up for all of women. That's why she's here. And it's odd because Time's not confirming that.
The woman who's managed to make enemies with actors, producers, and directors alike, not to mention hijacking movie roles she had no business taking, has somehow made her way to the top of this list as the most influential people according to Time 100 magazine. It just doesn't add up.
Absolutely stole control from this movie, and inch by inch you took more and more, and you've admitted this in interviews. I have to have authorships, and sometimes it's a rug pull for creators. You've admitted this.
Uh-oh, we have another crew member that's speaking out against Blake Lively, claiming she took advantage of Justin Baldoni.
So how did she manage to secure such an honor? It turns out that her inclusion wasn't due to any real merit or groundbreaking accomplishments. Apparently, a few years ago, she made a donation as a way to atone for her racially insensitive wedding ceremony, which took place at a former slave plantation. That's right, folks. Her apology donation is supposedly what helped her earn her spot on this list.
It just focuses on a donation she made like 6 years ago. A donation she made because they got married at a plantation and it looked really bad. She's done a lot of weird racist stuff. So to right that wrong, she gave a donation 6 years ago. And that's why apparently she's on this list.
But here's the real kicker. The whole reason she was invited to this gala wasn't because of past charity work or donations. Blake believes she was recognized for her advocacy work on behalf of women who have suffered abuse. The irony here is absolutely off the charts, considering Blake's own accusations against Justin Baldoni, accusations that have been thrown into question time and time again, with no evidence to back them up. How in the world is this the woman who's supposed to stand as a champion for survivors?
But she doesn't really offer any specifics. She doesn't provide any text. She doesn't tell us who these people are.
Was this just another desperate attempt to win over the audience? To get them on her side when clearly nothing else has been working?
I mean, I think she launched a fake Me Too allegation against him, and she's lived to regret doing it because virtually every allegation she has made has fallen apart.
It seems like Blake has pulled out every trick in the book, and yet nothing has been enough to sway the public opinion in her favor. The sympathy card? Played. The female empowerment angle? Done. And now, it looks like her latest move is to exploit her mother's painful past to try and win over hearts and minds. But guess what, Blake? It's not working.
And then she's trying to relate to everyone else who's a victim and say that as women, we stand together. No, we don't stand with you. And this is just another attempt to win over the public.
Instead of receiving the admiration and support she might have been hoping for, What Blake is getting right now is nothing but backlash, especially when you consider the looming legal battle with Justin Baldoni that's scheduled for March 2026. It's safe to say that she better start preparing herself for the legal showdown of a lifetime, because Justin is reportedly bringing a whole lot more than just his side of the story. More news and updates are still coming your way, and trust me, the tea is still brewing. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because we're just getting started.